Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's up, Sheets?
What's happening? Green screen, Packers jersey, green off the green, yellow off the green.
Well, I wanted to wear the Packers today, so it screws up when I use OBS and my green, so I can't. It really pixelated.
Oh, I like it. I like it,
So I
though.
just have to run the regular background today.
Yeah.
What's happening, fellas?
What's happening?
How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. So, boy, I'm kind of into the season being over pretty soon. Um, no.
Only from the guy who just wins the showdown back-to-back weeks.
Right. But I mean more main slate stuff because I have to say I'm getting. It's my own fault, right? But because I do still watch more content than I'm probably supposed to.
You
Just getting a little bit tired of like the same takes every week.
Do you feel like though this week especially? I mean, this is what happens at the end of the year. You get like 7,000 different plays, right?
Oh, it's just brutal.
It is. I get it though too from a content provider standpoint. I get why people are saying this stuff because it is really difficult to figure out like ways to get increasingly different. And the weird part is you're going to have so much chalk on certain spots today, and
You say that, but I've heard literally like I went through some of the. I'm not going to call out sites anymore. I'm just kind of done with it. But one place that I really want to say respect, whatever it is. One place that's really good, whatever. And I literally every game. Well, I like this. 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 I'm going to call out at least one. I found one recommendation of a play that's like different, and I'm actually going to throw it out there to you guys when we get to this position.
Okay.
Only because it doesn't project all that well, and I'm looking for something. And God forbid anybody else likes it. I'll even call the guy out for bringing it up. But I just heard nothing, not even original. And if you're not going to give anything original, at least give me some direction of how to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, give me some direction. Okay, so let's give me like something like, well, you should play more 3-man stacks or like less 3-man stacks or give me something. I mean, because I'm looking at every single play here. And so we have, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but like we have like a search feature, which we don't use as much as we should, like on TrueDFS, where you could search like how often like certain players were commented on in like YouTube videos and stuff like that Evan put together. I'm telling you, my brain right now is so fried from like whenever I see literally like a name on the board. Like I said, I look at a guy named like Chuba Hubbard. I'm like, okay, I literally remember like 11 different times it was mentioned. You know what I mean? And then like I look at Drake London, all these players. There's like nobody I'm seeing that has not been mentioned. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of ready for the last couple of main slates because listen, the showdown slates and the 2-gamers for me, it's not even almost about the plays. It's more about like funny business and stuff,
Strategy, yeah.
which is kind of fun. But these main slates are starting to grind on me a little bit. And if that's going to be, a good harbinger to me winning the million today, that's fine too,
Yeah.
But I'm ready to just do the same thing, and let's see if we can't figure out what's going on here, I guess.
All right, well, let's get into it. And I hear you, and I think that it's a really wild time. It's always like this the end of the NFL season, especially. But those playoff slates are really fun. You got the nice short slates. You got your favorite thing. You can play showdowns all over the place.
Dude, tomorrow I'm like in freaking heaven. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, for Christmas.
You got five basketball games, all island games.
Right.
I can late swap if I feel like it every game, and I'm not going to be going anywhere, so I can actually do it. You got 3 football games, is that right? And so 3 football games with a 3-game slate and 3 showdowns. You know what I mean? And I'm in. I mean, and I'm not Catholic, so I don't have to go to church. So I'm in business tomorrow.
It's good.
Go ahead. With that said, I'll probably go live tomorrow at 11. That's the hour before the basketball games start. So I'll definitely do that. If anybody wants to join me, feel free. I don't know what you guys have for Christmas or whatever.
I would love to. I will try to. My current plan is to try to get my stuff done, but I'm going to be at my family's house, so it's going to be strange. We do the early morning gift stuff. So
that's cool.
strictly, and then they're all taken off, down to Mexico afterwards. So
let's go.
I'm kind of jealous about that one.
Yeah.
My grandfather, 93, he's on dialysis 3 times a week.
God bless him.
He's sailing down to Mexico. Good for him. All right. Anyway, so let's get into the plays this week, and we will talk. I think it's important, though, to say sort of how we're stacking. I think that one of the things you said, Sheets, like when we talk about different quarterbacks that we like, I'll go along with how I'm mostly stacking them, and I try to do that as much as I can. But I think that's a good way to go. So with that said, we're going to have you started off, Rody, because me and Sheets have done most of the talking so far. So you're going to start off at quarterback, and let's go.
Well, you gave me the hard one this week because I think there's
always say it's the hard one, bro.
No, this one especially because I was just looking at your exposures that are in the premium channel on our Discord, and I see you got a lot of
I have more quarterbacks than almost ever.
You're pretty mixed bag this week. I think everyone's kind of spread out a little bit, and I think that goes with why people are giving out all these different plays because there's a lot of different stacks that are viable this week. But as I was starting to build, I kind of got into some really weird stacks that I liked at quarterback this week. So like you can really make things work well if you use quarterbacks like Taylor Heineke, Gardner Minshew, Trevor Siemian, some really weird stuff that we might see from Sheets, not necessarily for me normally, but those are like some really cheap builds you can get that I really like. I do like Jared Goff. I like that dome game a lot this week. But if you're stacking that game, you get Amon and Jefferson, you start to get very expensive where you got to find value elsewhere versus taking the Gardner Minshew in that another dome game that we like where we could stack where you got cheaper options, Downs and Drake London, which we'll talk about later. So those are kind of the ones I'm seeing a little bit more. I like those cheaper stacks. And then we got Nick Mullins on the other side of the golf game, which he's going to be very chalky, but he's also a little bit cheaper, but his stacking options are a little bit more expensive. But you can get a cheaper quarterback in at least to save a little bit of cash. Those are really my main guys. I'm kind of off these other ones. I know I'll let the other guys talk about it, but I've really loaded up on these cheaper games, and even you can go with a little Joe Flacco if you want to stack that. That's a cheaper stock where you can fit some other pieces around that we'll talk about later. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'll let you guys go now.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think. Go ahead, Sheets. What do you got at quarterback?
So again, in terms of context, I'm playing the Millie Maker, both of them, but one of them I'm playing 150, and the other one I'm playing 3 lineups.
Let's go.
I'm gonna play the power sweep and the spy as well. And so just a little context, I'm gonna be going over the my exposures right now just for the Millie Maker, the 150. Currently, I have 3. It's funny. I look at the stacks as opposed to the quarterbacks. So let me just see. It's going to be the same thing. So I have only 4 quarterbacks over 10%, 3 of them over 20 and 1 at 15. And they're all 4 of them, I think, the guys you just mentioned. So right now, my top owned quarterback at 25% is Taylor Heineke. Next one at 24% of Joe Flacco. Then Nick Mullins, 22%. And then Justin Fields at 14%. And I feel those 4 are going to be the 4 chalkiest quarterbacks on the board. So I don't know how I feel about that, but I don't think any of those 4 quarterbacks are particularly earth-shattering. And it's funny. Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, so we have a 50-point total with Prescott and Tua, and I have like 0 of them. You know what I mean? Like what am I doing? So that's one thing that's concerning me. It seems like I'm on all these 4 like hipster plays of the weeks. The Heinekes and the Flaccos and the Mullins and the Fields. It feels wrong, but every time I run it, this is just what I'm getting. So I have to figure out what I'm going to do. But for now, it's those 4 guys.
Yeah, I understand. I too only have 4 quarterbacks above 10%, but I've got a bunch at 8%. I am playing 150, and I am playing the 150s and all that stuff. And then
how many are you playing in the other one, in the other Millie Maker?
5.
Okay, great.
So my quarterbacks are. I'm not playing on FanDuel today for what it's worth. Dak and Tua are my two highest owned quarterbacks.
God bless you. At least somebody's doing the right thing. Good.
Yeah, I'm just forcing it in. Let's go. You know what I mean? Also, it's the afternoon. I can always pivot over to Baker if I want to. I actually really think that Trevor Lawrence is interesting, and I think that you could pivot over there if he's healthy. So
I like someone's doing the right thing. So at least it's not me.
So they're my 2 most. So then I guess I'm doing the wrong thing because Flacco's my 3rd highest owned quarterback. Fields is my 4th. Mullins my 5th. And Mullins, Goff, Geno Smith, and Heineke are very close for me. So but I do have Mullins as my fifth right now. I think that the way that you play the stacks for me, Dak, I'm going to do a lot of skinny stacks with CD, and I'm also going to include a little bit of Gallup, but mostly it'll be with Cooks where I can get him there. Tua is going to mostly be with Tyreek, just single stack, and a little bit with Waddle. Flacco, I think you can go triple stack. I have some triple stacks with Flacco. I have some double stacks. They're throwing the ball more than anybody in football right now. A little worried their defense just beats the hell out of Houston today, and maybe they don't need Flacco. That's my biggest concern. Fields, I think you have again multiple options because you got Mooney at 3,300. Komet's only 44, and more in Komet are the natural ones, but I think including some Mooney in there and maybe skipping Komet is a route you can go. Mullins, I think you're basically playing to get to Jefferson. And then I like Hawkinson a lot in a little revenge matchup, a little Hawkinson and Laporta to get different in your Mullins stacks. That's the way I would go because you're not going to get that combination, the double tight end, and maybe you get all the points from the tight end with those two guys. So that's the way I'm going about stacking them. Let's start off with you, Sheets, at the running back position.
So at the running back position, again, nothing looks particularly earth-shattering, and well, I mean, my highest owned guy is a guy that's like no chance. Okay, so no, Bijan Robinson. So I have 34% of a guy who might not even get the most carries on the team. You know what I mean? I have no idea, but that's what I have. And then I have 30% of a guy of a team that can't score any points. So that'd be Chuba Hubbard. So that's great. And then I have 25% of Devin Singletary against the Browns. Sounds like a great portfolio here. And then finally I have Ty Chandler. He's the only guy I actually like, actually. So I have 20% of him. And then below that, I will just I have two guys over 15%. Actually, just one. That would be Breece Hall, who I mentioned earlier, beginning of the week. And those are the guys I have over 15%.
Yeah, interesting. I get it. Okay, and I'm on the same page with a lot of these things, but I just want to point out. So, just of all those guys, the one I like the least is Ty Chandler. But I am
really okay.
He's the worst play. I mean, you have the number one team against running backs in all of football, and we're gonna play Ty Chandler because you had a big beat last year.
Sure.
Well, wait. Madison's back too this week. So
and Madison's coming back. I mean, Anyway, I do have Chandler. I am currently below the field, but
Madison's back. Well, I'm going to probably rerun these and get zero. Then.
I don't think it's going to change that much.
They're still showing him at 30% owned. Yeah. Chandler. I don't know. My brother even texted me like, "Why is Ty Chandler so owned?"
Well, that makes no sense.
I don't know if Madison's back. So
the way you beat Detroit also is. I mean, that's one thing Chandler can do though. A little bit, he can catch a few balls, but the way you beat Detroit is not by running the ball. You beat them by throwing the ball. That's been the story all year long. So anyway, that's just throwing that out there. I still do have 15% Ty Chandler right now, but I'm guessing that's going to be significantly below the field. Yeah. I have a ton of Hubbard today. The matchup is a little too good for me to just pass up, and I actually like Carolina to win this game. Sorry, Roby. I think that they're at least going to be in the game, and it goes along with my take yesterday. Hey, how about that take? I did. You know who I did take yesterday, Roddy? Though easiest bet in the world, but the points were the Chargers. How the hell are we going to say the Bills should be 16.5-point favorites or whatever the hell the thing was? That was a crazy one. I almost got the straight out victory too, which was like,
yeah, that was a great read by me. I thought that Buffalo would kill them. Good read.
What do you mean? The Chargers are always losing by 3 sheets. Come on, man.
Anyway, it was that was my favorite thing about the whole slate yesterday because I didn't make money otherwise. Although I forgot to tell, I almost really took it down on I had a real chance on Friday. Anyway. Hubbard, Johnny.
You did not have a real chance. I was watching that freaking live.
Hang on. I had a real chance. Just slow down for a second. I had a real chance until negative half a fantasy point from the last 20 minutes out of Josh Richardson. That's what
I guess that's fair enough, dude. You didn't have the leader of the free world though. The guy from Golden State. That was my one. But I literally couldn't fit him in. It was all about. Dude, we put our lineups together. I mean, I ended up min cashing in that thing, and I had him.
I finished 7th. No, but I know he was in my other one. I finished 7th and 20th. Yeah. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I had two lineups. Geez, my other lineup might have had a better chance, by the way. So that was actually another one.
That's true. That is true.
It was catching up there. Anyway, so okay, Hubbard, Taylor's number 1, Hubbard number 2 for me right now, ownership wise. I do think this is a Bijan day. I like that game. Aaron Jones, I'll be way over on the field. I know there's a lot of speculation with what's his name back today. I'd like to get Rhodey's thoughts on that in a minute. But I think Aaron Jones in like the best matchup for running backs in a must-win spot. Even though I like that game to stay close, and I like Carolina a little bit, I think Aaron Jones is a really good play. I will be overweight both Miami running backs today, especially A-Chain. I think that this is another way, to get a little different. These guys are not getting owned, and look, the best game on the slate not getting owned. It's hard not to want to play it. So
right
where I went, and then it's Breece Hall. These are the above 10 percenters for me. Singletary, then Pollard is just at 10% for me. So I, as you can tell, I'm pretty heavily focused on that Miami Dallas game. I also, for what it's worth, before we get to defenses, they are in a lot of my highest owned buy-ins for their defenses, just because I want to get different types of exposure to that game.
Dude, I'm so happy that you're heavy on that game.
Me too.
Yeah,
And when you
me
win
too,
$1 million later, you could save at least. So you did that, so I could win $1 million. I walked so you could.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm very happy about that because because someone's got to be, and it's not me. So
hey, Bobby, what's your power sweep lineups in? Is it in Tua and Dak lineups?
My power sweep.
My
last one? No, the one that I added most recently was to get a little bit of more exposure to Trevor Lawrence / Baker, depending on who I decide to go with at lunch or at whatever.
Newest one that's on here. Okay.
Lawrence, Goff, and Lawrence and Goff and Heineke are the most recent one.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Just to get a little different exposure to them.
I was trying to buy one of your things. Everything's kind of sold out today, but I want to get whatever you had Tua or Dak in because I'm a little lighter on that as much. So,
dude, I couldn't buy any of this stuff because I still haven't paid for what I.
Well, you wouldn't still gotta pay.
For what I won on Thursday. My account's like negative.
It's only been a few days.
yeah.
All right, Rody, who do you like at running back, and then we'll move over.
Yeah, so I'm pretty similar. Like I got a lot of Bijan. I like the price tag. I like that game. I like Aaron Jones, like you just said, Bobby. So I got a bunch of that. I'm liking that game for him this week. Breece Hall, that Sheets mentioned, I really like him this week at 6,100. He's going to be chalky, but I mean, I really like that play. I do want to get some Gibbs and Montgomery a little bit and kind of splitting between them.
Gibbs or Gibson?
Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs for the Detroit game. I really like the Detroit Minnesota. I think I'm on the over in that game. I think both teams should play well in the dome. Detroit's really ramping up right now. Minnesota's trying to make a push for the playoffs. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think Gibbs is really starting to look good as well, so I like him. I'm off to Ty Chandler for what it's worth. I don't really have any.
I'm going to rerun these with new projections and see what I get here.
Yeah, so I'm really sticking up with these different running backs. I am getting a little bit of Achane and Mostert just because I want to try to get some of that game, being I'm a little lighter on the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll try to get some of that. And then I think my other guy I forgot to mention is Jonathan Taylor against Atlanta. I kind of like that play at 7,200 a little bit.
He was supposed to be like a locker over here this week.
I think I don't think anything has changed, and I have no idea what the hell these projections are because I think he's the best play on. He's my highest on running back.
Yeah. So I don't know. This is kind of all over the place right now. I think we need some updates here, and we're still waiting on some injury news on a couple of them too, but mostly in the receiver category.
What are we waiting on?
I haven't heard anything on.
We're waiting on both Wicks and Reed, obviously.
Yeah, Wicks and Reed's kind of a bigger one for those are value options with Wicks. And then Dylan's out too, right?
Dylan's supposed to be back.
Yeah, but none of the projections show Dylan, I don't think.
Oh, interesting, because he's they said that they expect him to be back. Maybe they just haven't updated yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I need an update on the Packers a big time.
Yeah.
So some show them and some don't. So it's SaberSim has them. So okay.
You still like Aaron Jones if Dylan's back?
Oh yeah, I still like Aaron Jones. So
yeah.
They're talking about giving it to him a little bit more, and they got to make a play. They're trying to make the playoff push, so they're going to be trying. I like the matchup. So
Aaron Jones, the Jordan Poole of the NFL.
One running back people have mentioned that you guys didn't mention. I will just throw it out there. You like? So you did mention. You mentioned Gibbs, and you also mentioned Montgomery a little bit, right?
Yeah, I got a split between them, but I'm leaning more Gibbs.
So I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go back to my original. This is what I'm going to force in. I just decided. Okay. My original take. My first running back that I talked about at 12 o'clock on Tuesday, whenever the hell it was. I'm looking outside. I'm looking at it's Christmas, right? Last I heard, Christmas was in December, and I'm getting Derrick Henry at like 1% ownership.
Yeah, especially it's weird because people are playing Geno Smith stacks. So absolutely play Derrick.
I'm hearing more people want to play freaking Tajon Spears.
I am playing a little Tajay Spears, but
yeah, I was about to say I forgot to mention Spears,
Yeah,
but
I'm not
I should have
interested.
mentioned Henry too. I got a little bit of him, but
I'm not interested. I want the 200 out of Derrick Henry. That's
Spears is only projected 1 point less than Henry.
good.
Yeah.
How about- good for
For
everybody.
what it's worth, I would
Yeah.
just say that to the Spears lineups, if you're going to be also doing that and playing Kenneth Walker is another name that we didn't really talk much about. Those would actually be a positive correlation to each other. Just or if you're going to play anybody else, if I'm playing Tajay Spears, it's probably because I'm playing somebody from Seattle. But you're playing him as the pass catching back in a hopefully coming from behind type of role. Just throwing that out there. All right, let's go to wide receiver. I'm gonna go through my exposures right here. My highest owned wide receiver is Drake London. Call it whatever you will. He's 5,100, which is ridiculous against Indianapolis. And Indianapolis, I'm just going to attack any game that's in Indy. So I love Drake London. DJ Moore, second highest owned, no surprise there. Elijah Moore, third highest owned. Somebody made a joke on one of the other shows that I thought was really funny that Elijah Moore is actually Joe Flacco's real son. Because they like fit exactly what Flacco's always been good at doing. Just go out, run 100 yards, and I'll throw it up in the air. Maybe you catch one or two. You're going to get 1 or 2 PIs a game, and then we're in business. So I love Elijah Moore today. Dontayvion Wicks will be probably my highest owned, assuming that we do in fact get Reed out. Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb are my highest owned spend ups, just barely ahead of Tyreek Hill. Amari Cooper. I have more Brandon Cooks than the field does. I could see this actually being an interesting spot where he might get a big play or two. Dolphins give up some big plays, so I like that one. Then I'm getting the Alec Pierces and Amon-Ra St. Browns. And honestly, all those guys are above 10% for me. I know that's a lot of names. I am going to throw out, though, that if you're looking for the value, I think you have a lot of different options, and they're going to be, you're going to have some chalkier ones. Maybe some pivots off the value would be the Arizona guys, although that Michael Wilson might get some ownership, but Wilson, Dortch, Rondale Moore, 3 to consider. And the one who I kind of think is like maybe the best play on the slate, but he's starting to get too much ownership, is Calvin Ridley. That's a little more expensive, obviously, but Calvin Ridley and why I mention it is because I think Parker Washington is an interesting pivot off of Ridley, and I think that both of them make for a nice stack with Lawrence. So those are all my above 10 percenters, which is quite a few today. But I think wide receiver is definitely up in the air, and there's 5 really good spend ups. So I want to try to spend up and down because I think it makes the most sense. Rody, what do you got at wide receiver?
Yeah, like a lot of those calls that you just mentioned. I think Amon St. Brown's getting 2 of low owned. So I think you should play more of him. Out of all the spend ups, I do like Jefferson, but I like Amon a lot. Catching machine, doesn't drop as many balls. Drake London I like too. He's getting a little bit more ownership now, but he's 5,100. I'm targeting these dome games. If you guys notice, I really like those games this week. Another cheap guy in this list that Bobby didn't mention, I think, Garrett Wilson for the Jets against Washington. He's going to be owned a lot, but 5,800 is a good price. Wicks at 4,300. We got to wait on the Reed news. I don't really have as many cheap guys as we did previously. I do like the Parker call. I've been playing a lot of Parker in the past couple of weeks since he's been used more. Hopkins at 6,100 is pretty decent. The game's going to be chalky, though. Trying to find some lower owned guys that I've been using more. Receiver, I'm kind of spread out. I like Josh Downs a lot. Drake London, I like that 5K price on those guys.
How much DeMarcus Robinson, or so not DeMarcus Robinson, this week's version of DeMarcus Robinson, who is also the what's it called, the whatever, he's supposed to be the other receiver for why can't I just freak
Alex Pierce? What game?
No, their other receiver. Because the other receiver, what's his name? DJ Montgomery.
DJ Montgomery, 3,300. Yeah, he's
there's word out there that he might end up being the sort of the regular, possession receiver. Downs is more the home run threat. So is Pierce kind of too. So none of them are really possession receivers. So maybe he's like a possession guy.
Okay, maybe I'll throw in some Montgomery a little bit more. I didn't have as much of him.
Yeah.
But I like that call because I kind of like that game. So I'm just trying to figure out what pieces I want to play from it, how I want to stack it up. Yeah, I'll let Sheets round it out. I mean, I'm pretty similar guys than what Bobby had in a few different.
I forgot to mention 2 of my guys that are cheap. I'm sorry, Jameson Williams, as always, and he's actually getting more of a role now. Like he's playing more snaps, he's getting more of their 2.5 role or whatever. And I think Treylon Burks. I just wanted to throw those out there. I do have those guys quite a bit. So go ahead, Sheets.
Yeah, that was the cheapo that somebody had called out that I was wanting to ask you about, the DJ Montgomery. He's not projecting for anything, but from a couple of people are calling him out as having upside. So I figured I'd ask you about him.
Yeah, Saberson likes him a lot better than the industry does. Well, actually, it's not true. He's actually popped up. I have him as a third best wide receiver point per dollar.
Oh, really?
He actually popped up over Pierce even on Saberson.
Yeah, he's ahead of both of the guys on
recent updates. They're a little better.
Yeah, I just changed it, so let me just see if anything. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so funny. As of even yesterday. Oh no, that's David Montgomery. Yeah. It's so funny. I'm getting him. Still only like 8 points though. It's not like that big a deal.
For 3,300 though, that's a fair.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah, usually around 2 or 3 points at a guy that's third or fourth string like that.
He's a possession guy though.
Well, that's what it was. It was speculation because neither Pierce nor Downs are really possession receivers. They're more like home run threats, and then they use Pittman for every in between route. So the thinking would be to play him or one of the. The problem is you'd say, oh, naturally the answer would be play the tight end. Well, which freaking tight end? Because is it Ogletree, Mallory, or Granson? And so
I gotta see what's going on here because I'm getting Montgomery with a much lower projection, even from Sabres. I gotta get fixed.
Montgomery had a decent week last week too. So if he gets a bigger role this week,
yeah, part of that though was because of the Pittman injury. But yeah,
Pittman's out today. So
no, I know he filled in the Pittman role after Pittman was Pittman-ish.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if you think he gets more of a Pittman's now out,
yeah,
he should get even more a little bit for starting the game.
Yeah,
it's a good. I think it's all right.
So I have another cheapo that's fitting within my stacks that I've heard a couple of things about, and that would be Cedric Tillman, from Cleveland. He's 3,300, and I'm going to be using him in some Cleveland stacks in the Millie Maker. But aside from that, I'll just go over my receiver ownerships. My top guy is since I brought it up, Amari Cooper. And then DJ Moore, I'm sure he's been mentioned by one of you guys. DJ Moore, Justin Jefferson, Matt's home for the weekend, so UVA Dontavian Wicks. Not going to be the only one to play him, obviously, but him, and those are the highest owned guys. Again, a little too much Cleveland maybe, but whatever.
Yep.
So some big news just came in. AJ Dillon will play. Jaden Reed won't play.
Nice.
So Wicks, as I was saying.
Yeah, I think that's actually not going to change the projections much because I think that Reed was currently not.
Yeah, I had him out. I mean, I think.
Yeah, that sucks because I have Reed in my dynasty league. That's
actually he was being wow. Dontavian Wicks is really going to look like a great play.
Should go pick up Wicks.
That's going to have to probably lead to some love stacks because.
Yeah,
at least I'm going to have to consider it. Let me rephrase it. Yeah. It's just you got Reed, and by the way, you can throw Heath into the mix too. Ugh. And Tucker Kraft. Oh my God, I got to get a lot of more of that game. All right, go ahead. Sorry. Did we interrupt Sheets? Is that my fault?
I was done.
Okay. Well, we can move on over to tight end then, and I'm going to add Tucker Kraft to my list of tight ends. All right. So as of right now, I actually this is not. We don't have the cheapy tight ends that I was sort of like. I don't know. We've sort of gotten accustomed to that. In the last few weeks, it's been a little bit more spending up is worth it. But as of right now, I have Kyle Pitts, Kmet, McBride, and Laporta all owned similarly, all very different prices, obviously. And then just beneath them, I have Ferguson and Hawkinson and Njoku. And all of those guys above 10%. I actually do like some double tight ends. Now, what scares me is that everybody's favorite play of this week is Evan Ingram. And I actually do like Evan Ingram too, but I feel like I thought he was going to be more popular than he. Well, I guess he's going to be pretty popular. I just like the other guys a little bit better, thinking I was going to get a little lower ownership, but I think I do want to get to some Ingram as well. So kind of spread out a little bit at tight end, but those are the guys I have the most of.
I mean, I'll go first. I have like 35% Njoku. I mean, he's my highest owned tight end by a lot. I don't know why I don't have 100% McBride, but I just there are like other plays, I think.
Because you have
so I have Njoku 1,000,000%. I have like Pitts. Why do I have Kyle Pitts? Anyway, 20%. Then the Evan Ingram, like other people have, Jake Ferguson, but all these guys are under 5%. Sam Laporta and Hawkinson, I think, are both very, very good. I was going to say pivots off of McBride, but why am I not getting like any McBride? This is so weird. Yeah. So anyway, since you asked what Njoku and Pitts, I have like way above everybody else.
Yeah, for some reason this week McBride projects way worse than Njoku, Ingram, who are cheaper than him. Basically the same as Hawkinson, Ferguson, and Ferguson's much cheaper. His projection is people don't love the McBride projection, but the weird part is everybody knows enough they're still going to play him. You know what I mean? Like he's going to end up being really popular anyway. But it is kind of funny because with a guy with his projection, usually they would be much lower owned than he is.
I want to give you, I don't know if I should do this, but I'm going to give you a little bit of color on the projections this week. I just want to let you guys know that, like the Blitz was just like so super freaking huge heavy on Minnesota between Mullins and everybody else. It was basically skewing everything. Mm-hmm. So I had to pair that back. I had to pare that back a little bit. So I figured I'd throw it out. If you are like Blitz guys, you really like him. They're like are drooling over freaking the Minnesota thing. But my stuff, I had to adjust for that and pare it back a little bit. I mean, it's almost, he had almost like 5 points higher than everybody else. So
I was trying to script sheets and I literally couldn't get. Even if I put like 50%, no more than 50% of any of these guys, they would max out 50% of everybody from Minnesota, basically.
Yeah.
So Saberson liked him too. So I had to literally, I only was able to build like 30 lineups and then I had to hand build the rest of the things because there was no way I was going to play that much Minnesota. But you're right. I think the sites love Minnesota so much that the projections are sort of wonky a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Rody, what do you got at tight end?
Oh, yeah, tight end. I like tight end today. I think it's going to be spread out a little bit. Yeah, we got McBride chalk at the top a little bit, but you got Hawkinson there at 5,800 at 7%. Evan Ingram getting a lot of work. Njoku that you guys mentioned. So Sam Laporta we still got, and then you got the guys that been doing good for their teams this year, like Jake Ferguson's been getting some work. Cole Kmet for Chicago has been looking really good with Fields. And then you got some cheaper guys like Tucker Crabb, Kyle Pitts at 4K with the Taylor Heineke stack you can do. Tyler Conklin's a cheap guy. The Jets I really like. You can really make a nice little stack there. I'm using him. And besides that, then I'm not really dumpster diving too much. I'm just kind of taking one of those top guys that I really like this week and trying to work around that. So those are really my guys this week. So.
Yep, sounds good.
I like the top guys. All right,
and then we'll finish with sheets here at defense.
Yeah, so as usual, I don't like to play more than 20% of any defense, just because of the way results distribute at that position. But I like to share with you guys teams that would give me 20% if I didn't make that rule. And this week, actually not that bad. My top owned guys, but top two are got to be the top. I imagine the top two owned. That would be the Jets and the Bucks. Jets I have at 23%, and then Bucks at 20 or so, 18. Then my next highest owns are Panthers, Titans, and Cardinals. And then the Bears. So those would be my top owned defenses.
All right. I'll go next real quick. I've got the Bucks, Jets, Panthers, Vikings, Titans, Seahawks all over 10%. And then I'm probably going to end up shifting a little bit more to Miami. And in my higher buy-ins, I have Miami and Dallas a little bit. And then I think the Browns are my favorite spend up-ish.
I've heard all this stuff during the week about how the Browns are like their defense is only good at home and not on the road. I mean, give me a freaking break. I mean, honestly,
no, it's just people just
a lot of nonsense.
And also, you want to talk sample size? Like you're talking about like a few games, and then who knows who was healthy for which? You know what I mean? It's just like you're talking about. It's just too hard to figure out. All right,
I'll take Myles Garrett. I don't care where he's playing.
Yeah, I tell you what. With the Browns, I'm having a hard time clicking Devin Singletary in my lineups.
Right.
Thinking about the Browns defense.
But I actually think that actually is an argument for Singletary. I think there's more checkdowns and stuff like that in that situation. That's just my argument. But
no, I get the argument. He's projecting decent. I mean, it's mine. I don't know. I really high on the Browns.
Let me tell you something, Brody. This is last I checked. This is the United States of America. And if you don't want to play Devin Singletary, you don't really have to.
You don't have to do it, Rody. We're not going to make you.
I know he just clicked at some lineups that looked good when I locked some.
I keep having to play him because I'm playing so much Flacco.
They look great until Singletary gets met in the backfield by Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? Like
Except for that's one thing that they do. They give up big plays because they tend to over pursue the quarterback a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I'll throw some. I'm kind of on the cheaper defenses again this week. Even the Panthers at 2,400, the cheapest one you got. I mean, depending on what Jordan Love we get this week, they could be viable. Titans, I do like a little bit. I think 2,600. And then, even the Dolphins at 2,700, Dak throws stupid passes once in a while. Jags are another defense I like at 2,900. I mentioned them, but I mean, the spend ups are probably the best as being the Jets. They're obviously the chalkiest. Then you got the Browns. The Browns and the Jets are probably two of my favorite ones to play. But except I really like these cheap ones because I'm trying to play, Justin Jefferson, Amon St. Brown, like these expensive stacks. So,
yep. All right, I'll do my little, I guess my quick hot take of the week. I'm gonna, even though I don't have more than like 10% of this guy right now, I'm gonna probably end up with a little bit more after we get off of here. But I'm gonna say that this is finally the week for Jameson Williams to be on the winning lineup. And more seriously though, I expect at least one wide receiver in the 3Ks to be on the winning lineup, possibly two at least. That's just the way that I'm looking at this slate. So that's my real take. Sheets, why don't you go, and then Rody, you can take us out of here after with final thoughts.
All right, so I got two. John, I love Tuttle's terrible takes. That's like just the greatest freaking tagline. I love it.
It is, and you know what's weird is I feel like he's right like half the time.
Yeah,
half the time they're awesome takes.
Yeah, so I got two Sheets' shitty takes. How about that? Yeah, that's fair. No, I got to do better than that. Except I'm so uncreative. I can't figure stuff out like that. But so my two awful plays. One of them I mentioned already, and that is Derrick Henry. And the other one just kind of dawned on me. Okay, I'm gonna give you another stack, and it's a stack with a quarterback we've played. I don't even know if he's playing. Hold on. In any case, a team that we played before, and like a million times in a row at high ownership, and this week they're going to be, I'm presuming, let me just see, yeah, going to be no owned, and you get the benefit. It's really tough to do to play them against the chalkiest defense on the board. So I'm going to say Sam Howell in Washington as the slate breaker against the chalk Jets defense, and you'll have people lamenting how they played Sam Howell as the most popular quarterback for 50 weeks in a row, and now when no one's playing him because they're afraid of the big bad Jets, that he goes off. So that's going to be
he's been the most popular quarterback probably of the whole season.
Yeah,
and
so that's going to be my terrible take is Derrick Henry with the Washington stack. That's it.
You know what? I'm kind of sold on that. I like that idea, Sheets. I might have to throw in a Washington stack. All right.
Just in case. Just in case.
But we've had these little joke things a few times on the show.
Well, it's perfect. It's perfect because it goes very well with my take, my sarcastic take on Tuesday, where I said the winning million maker lineup is going to be Jet stack against Washington.
Right. I had a Jordan Love stack almost win me all the money after we did one of these on the show because Rody and I kind of joked me into it, and I would have had to throw a little tip his way. Anyway, I'm in on that. I think it's a fun idea. All right, Rody, final thoughts, and then take us out of here.
I think one of these cheap quarterbacks take it down. I know everyone's talking up, Fields, Stack, Tua, Goff even, but man, I really like the builds better with like the Taylor Heineke's, Trevor Siemian. One of these cheap guys Joe Flacco that you mentioned. One of those guys are going to be in the Millie Maker today. That's my hot take. That's all I got.
Sounds good to me. All right, Rody, finish it. Take us out of here.
Good luck, everyone, and hit the like button on the way out. As always.